Yeah, so I'm gonna overlay these two into VFD.
Yeah, no, VFD, listen, VFD is always an easy out, bro. We always got the out. We always got the out.
Yeah, whatever you say. Your turn.
All right, draw for turn, draw phase. Any you wanna activate anything in the draw phase?
No.
All right, anything in the standby phase. Listen, you always listen. I mean, are you sure you don't want to VFD standby phase? VFD? No.
No. You know what? No, I'm a good player. We're gonna play around Gamma and the Imperm.
All right, so yeah, I'll kaiju the VFD.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, welcome to this episode of Head-to-Head Battles. All right, if you guys are not subscribed, hit that subscription button. All right, hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
And drop a like on this video if you learned something out of it. So I guess wait a little bit until you get something out of it.
That's true.
All right. Also, guys, we are doing box breaks. If you go over to HeadtoHeadBattles.com, you'll see Genesis Impact box break. Now, what this means is if you follow us at Twitch over at twitch.tv/HeadtoHeadBattles, we basically will open the boxes for you if you check out from our website.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a live box break.
Yeah, it's really fun. And, you know, everyone in the Twitch chat can see, you know, what you pull and stuff. And we'll ship you everything or whatever you want out of the box. Also, guys, let's get into the video. All right, so today's topic of casual to competitive was learning how to bluff, right? Now, bluffing is really important, like in any card game, because there is some semblance of RNG, right? Random number generator. Right? So there are some ways that you can legally bluff, and there are some ways in Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically where if you bluff this way, you will get penalized.
Oh, you're gone.
Like you're gone. Yeah, you're right? Gone. You're gone. So when Nibiru first came out, Nibiru, people were like, yeah, how many summons was that? How many summons was that? That's actually legal, right? Because like you asking your opponent how many summons you had is very legal, right? Because like, I mean, it could be you're trying to keep up with the game state and make sure like it's a legal game state, or, you know, just in general. But
basically a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah, you're asking something that's objectively already happened, right? Now, Nibiru was like the greatest bluff card when it came out, right? Like if you made it seem like you had Nibiru in the hand, your opponent would do like 30 different things to play around the Nibiru, and then lo and behold, you never had it in the first place.
Yeah, that's bluff.
Right? So like, especially in that little skit that you just watched, so essentially like, if Gen VFD or True King of all Calamity in the draw or standby phase, like I wouldn't have been able to play. But the fact that like I sat there asking her, hey, do you want to do anything in the draw phase? Or do you want to do anything in the standby phase? Right? Kind of made her second guess herself, like, do I really, like, man, what if he has the Gamma, or what if he has like Imperm, or like Forbidden Chalice, or Forbidden Droplet, right? It makes you really wonder, like, if they really have something that they might actually not. And lo and behold, in the main phase, you know, you just get kaiju'd, and you can't like quick effect chain to a kaiju. Right? So like, that's why like learning to bluff is super important. Right.
But there are also illegal bluffs that you cannot
there are illegal bluffs,
So basically, I mean, it's simply put, you can't lie. Like, you cannot lie. This was one interesting thing. You can't tell someone you don't have hand traps and obviously play an Ash. Like, that's just completely illegal. That's not bluffing. That's just
that's a straight line.
That's a straight line.
Because at that point, you're giving your opponent false information, and you can't do that. Right? But like, I mean, to be honest, like if you want to be a good player, you want to do your best to reveal as little information as possible, right? Because like, even if like you really didn't have hand traps in your hand, like why would you tell your opponent that to begin with? Like that in itself just doesn't make any sense, right?
It's just odd.
Exactly. It's like,
you don't want to put more public knowledge out there than what you already have.
Right, because like, you saying nothing is already a really big bluff, right? Like what a lot of good players, what they'll do is sometimes they'll just put their hand and just lay it flat down on the mat and not even touch their hand. Because then like it gives your opponent a false sense of confidence, like, oh, they must not have anything, right? Because that way, like you're not really saying you don't have hand traps, right? You're not really saying anything. You're just putting your hand down. You're making it seem like you have no play, but then when your opponent does something, you'll just flip something over, right? Because when someone feels safe, like they'll just make the most greediest plays. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, you can just flip the card over from the table and be like, and they're gonna be like, wow, I thought you didn't have anything, and you're gonna be like, well, that's your fault because that's what you thought. Right? There's nothing that I told you to give you that thought. So in that sense, that makes it legal. But as Jen was saying, if you tell your opponent like, yo, I don't have Ash.
Just straight up say, I don't have Ash.
Yeah, and then you just legit have Ash. You will literally get a warning or even a game loss. Right? Like that could, and like you do that enough, like you'll eventually like lead to a match loss and or a ban from events, period.
I don't think that even applies to the hand, your current hand. I think if you're saying that, to me it registers as, oh, he just doesn't play Ash in his deck.
Correct. It could also, right, because
But then if he plays Ash, that's completely illegal.
Right, because human perception is huge in the game. And that's something you have to take into account when you're playing card games, and not just Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But in a sense, it's really powerful. Like the bluffing is really important, right? Because you're trying to make your opponent put out, like make suboptimal plays. And the only way you do that without revealing any information is like your body language and the questions that you ask, right? So Jen, like when a person goes normal summon, right? And they go, hey, response. What does that like do to you?
Well, it makes me think, and even if I had a hand trap in my hand that I wanted to save, like it makes me even think, oh, should I?
Yeah, like should I hand trap it, right? Like there are things that you can say during the duel that will literally make your opponent think twice. Right? If you guys know our good friend Pat, I was actually playing against him at locals, right? And I had game on the board. Like I had game on the board, but Pat was like, yeah, you're gonna Hexatrude pop the kaiju, right? And I was like, no. In my head, I'm like, no, why would I do that? That's dumb. I'm gonna summon my own kaiju first, and then use Hexatrude to pop his kaiju, and then OTK, right? But Pat kept saying like, Hexatrude pop the kaiju, right? Hexatrude pop the kaiju. And at some point, I was hand shuffling and not even paying attention, and I was like, yeah, Hexatrude pop the kaiju, right? And as I said it, I'm like, wow. I just got hypnotized.
This man just mesmerized you.
I just got legit hypnotized. And I actually ended up losing that game even though I had OTK in my hand. Right? So it's things like that that really make like bluffing and like the power of suggestion is huge in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like it is huge. You know what I'm saying? Like
because to me, like when I personally play games, I don't know if this is just like a widely used thing. For me, I always ask response, and I just look at their face.
Like you're reading faces out here.
No, because like, you know, what you do is like, you know, when you're playing, like you don't really keep looking at your hand. You want to keep like, you know, looking at the game state. So personally for me, I keep looking at the board if I really don't have anything in my hand. But I would ask the other player response. If they look at their hand and go, you know.
Right, yeah. You know, actually like asking little questions like that, like will make your opponent reveal information out of their hand. Yeah. Because if you go like yo response and they look at their hand and they think about it, like they have something. Yeah. So it's like little things like little things like this that you have to master to be a good player, right? And especially like with remote dueling now, and like you can't read expressions. No. But like I said, like even like laying your cards down on the table and not touching your cards after you've drawn them will literally give your opponent a false sense of confidence, right? And then like it's really funny because like when people have a false sense of confidence, they start going on like autopilot mode, and like even if they go uninterrupted, they already made like 4 mistakes because like they're just on autopilot and they're like not thinking, right? And at that point, you call a judge and then they'll get a warning or even a game loss for literally being on autopilot because you put your hands on the table. All right, guys. So if there's anything I want you to take away from the video, there's 3 very simple things, right? 1. Master the art of bluffing, okay? Like having your opponent like give away information that they don't have to while you hold on to all the information is huge. It will win you so many games for free, and you need to learn this by practicing, right? Like how do I bluff without it being illegal, but at the same time, like am I doing a good job bluffing? Because if you're not, your opponent's gonna be like, what are you doing, right? And that leads me to my second thing, which is the power of suggestion. The power of suggestion is huge, right? Because like, especially like even in the skit, I was like, anything in the draw phase, standby phase. You want to activate VFD in the standby phase. I'm suggesting to my opponent that I might have a card to stop VFD, and I want you to use VFD, right? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, please, please, please do not activate VFD so I can kaiju you in the main phase, right? And that leads me to my third thing, all right? Which is learn to read your opponent. Because if you do steps 1 and 2, and you can't do 3, that does not, like steps 1 and 2 do nothing for you, right? Because like if I'm like bluffing to you, I'm like, so you want a VFD?
It looks like you're flirting.
Do you want a VFD? Huh? Very fun date, you know? And then it's just like,
oh my god.
And then you're just looking at me, right? You're just looking at me, and I'm like, and I don't know how to read my opponent. I just wasted my time, and my opponent probably thinks I'm super weird.
No, I probably just think you're a dork.
Right? So, I mean, like I said, guys, like bluffing is huge in this game, and it's the main thing I want you to take away from this video. So comment down below if you've ever bluffed your opponent into doing something that they initially didn't even think about doing. Or if like the power of suggestion won you a game. Right? Or how good of a read did you have on your opponent? All right? So guys, as you guys know, all right, we are very close to 10K.
We are.
All right. So I want you guys to please smash that subscribe button and the notification bell. And like I said, comment down below with some dope stories. I love reading them. As you guys know, we try to answer as many comments as possible. All right.
We read through everything, guys.
We really do. Even all the hateful ones.
Oh, I love answering the hateful ones.
Someone in my last video said I couldn't rap.
Someone said you couldn't rap?
Yeah.
When did you rap?
It was for the late night podcast, but that's a story for another day.
Okay.
Anyways, we've kept you here long enough. All right, guys. We freaking love you. This is Susu from HeadtoHeadBattles.
HeadtoHead Battles.
Signing out.